Now that you've wrapped your reed, done the basic scrape, and done the second scrape, it's time to finish the reed. What are the factors that you're looking for in your reed? We are basically looking for 5 things: response, pitch level, pitch stability, range of expression, and tone. As you bring your reed to life, balancing the sections of the reed is critical to making all of these factors work.
When you articulate a note, you want it to speak instantaneously without a thud or a squawk or a delay in the sound. This is the response of the reed. Before trying the reed in the oboe, we like to do the travel test. Put just the tip of the reed in your mouth and blow gently. If it doesn't respond, then take more off the tip. If it does respond, keep putting the reed further into your mouth while making a continuous sound on the reed with gentle blowing. If the sound stops when you get to the heart, that tells you that you need to scrape more off the heart. If the sound stops when you get to the back, that tells you that you need to scrape more off the back. If the sound never stops, then your reed probably has pretty good response.
To check the response of the reed in your oboe, we have some specific exercises to try. Here's an exercise to test the response in the low register. You can test the response in the upper register with this exercise. These are some basic tests for response, but you can always invent your own or play one of your favorite excerpts.
The next factor to consider with your reed is the pitch level. The reed should crow a C. If it crows lower or higher than that, the reed will not play in tune.
There is an art to crowing a reed. When you check the crow, don't use your normal embouchure. You put the reed in your mouth so your lips touch the thread and keep your lips loose. Blow into the reed gently and you should hear a single C. If it's lower than a C, in most cases, you will need to clip the reed. If it's higher than a C, in most cases, you will need to scrape more cane off the reed. Then blow into the reed with more force, and another C, an octave lower than the first, should be heard. This is called the double C.
A reed that crows only one C is called a peeper. A peeper reed will not have the range of expression that you need. Usually, these reeds tend to feel closed up.
Getting back to the crow. If the reed has a double crow, you may also hear a little bit of rattle in the crow. A reed with a lot of rattle will be wild and unstable with the pitch. Most players like a reed with no rattle in it. If your reed has a rattle when you crow it, you can either clip the reed a bit more or gently squeeze the throat of the reed like this between your thumb and your forefinger. Make sure when you squeeze the throat of the reed that the reed is sufficiently soaked.
This brings us to pitch stability. A reed might crow a C, but if the crow isn't right or the reed isn't balanced well, the individual pitches throughout the oboe might be hard to control. For example, a reed that is too open might result in the upper register being flat even if it sounds good in the mid-range.
As you test your reed, you should be able to play in tune throughout your range with a comfortable embouchure. Check your pitch level at A equal to 440 with a tuner, and check your pitch stability by playing a D major arpeggio up and down the instrument. Can you do this with relative ease and stay in tune?
The range of expression is your ability to have a full range of dynamics throughout all registers. A reed that is too closed will make it hard to get as loud as you need, and a reed that is too open or stiff will make it hard to play softly or diminuendo. You will also want your reed to allow you to have a beautiful vibrato. Test the range of expression by getting louder and softer on low, medium, and high notes.
If your reed is too closed, there is usually not much you can do about it. Closed reeds are usually caused by the piece of cane being too flat across the surface. If I see a piece of cane that doesn't have enough curve in it, I just don't use it. If the reed is just slightly closed, you could open it up a bit by making a more severe V line like this. If the reed is too open, there are a couple of things you can do to close it down. You can make the angle of the V line less severe, like this, or you can gently squeeze the throat of the reed closed, like we showed you before.
This brings us to the fifth factor, which is tone. In most cases, if you get the other 4 factors in place, the reed will have a nice tone to it. Don't make the mistake of building your reed only for tone. Your beautiful tone is worthless if you have a big orchestral solo and your notes don't respond, if your pitch is off, or if you can only play loudly. That being said, of course there are small adjustments you can make to improve the tone of your reed.
If the reed is too bright sounding, this is often caused by the tip vibrating too much in relation to the rest of the reed. You can fix this by reworking the balance of the sections. Brightness can also be caused by a reed that is too closed, or it can be the result of using cane that is too brittle.
A reed that is too dark and woody sounding without enough vibration is often also too hard. You can use the travel test again to determine which sections need to be scraped. We are all looking for a beautiful tone. When we think of adjectives to describe tone, we think of words like resonant, vibrant, warm, silky, buttery, dark, sweet, and smooth. The reed should take vibrato well without being reedy.
To check the tone, play a slow passage and analyze how the reed is working for you. You may also want to play your favorite slow excerpt.
When you are happy with your adjustments to the reed, play on it a little bit and then break it in by playing on it 15 to 20 minutes a day for the next few days. After that, it should be at its peak.
As you become a more proficient reed maker, these tests and adjustments will become more familiar, and it will become easier to finish your reed to perfection.
Now that's something to crow about.